So right there is the 5500 with the gooseneck and the mini and the lift hooked behind it. I've been pulling it like that for a couple of weeks now, I guess, somewhere around the neighborhood. And back when I used to have cows, that's how I pulled my hay rake around too. I'd put the tractor, I had a 100 horsepower case, cab air, four-wheel drive, front end loader on it and everything. And then I had a New Holland, a BR 740 baler. I'd pull it up on the trailer, and then I would, the tractor and the baler together, and then hook the rake behind it and take off down the road. And as long as I'm not too far away, you know, right around here, that's how I move it. And I have pulled the chipper behind it too. People in their mind probably think, well, you got to swing out so much more wider to allow for the whatever's behind it, but you don't. You just cut the same distance, because when the back end of the trailer moves, it makes the one on the back follow right in wherever it goes. So you don't have to swing out any wider. A lot of y'all have noted and seen it about Bobby Goodson, the swamp logger, announcing that he's shutting down Goodson all-terrain logging, going to bring everything in and park it. There's been a lot of stir in my comments about it, wanting to make sure that I knew about it. The sad fact of the matter is like my case here with Cotton Top 3, I've got a platform, a huge platform. Bobby with swamp loggers, him being on TV, he has a huge platform, so it can get out there, it can be in front of people and seen. But think about this. He is one person out of hundreds upon hundreds who have had to make that same decision here in the last just few months. For years now, Bobby has been saying in his videos, I've said it in mine, logging is the profit margins in logging, you cannot hardly make it. You can't hardly make it. Somebody in the comments said the other day, this is going to separate the men from the boys. I thought that was a pretty crappy comment, in the fact that, gosh, you got Bobby, you know, who's been doing it. He's 58 now. He said he's been doing it since he was 11. I mean, how much more of a man do you got to be to make it? You know what I mean? My case, I worked for Dad. I started working just like Bobby did. 12 years old, worked on the weekends, every weekend, every summer till I graduated in 90. Even prior to graduating, my junior, I was basically working full time in my junior year, and even my sophomore year of high school. You know, when I could drive, I was going to the woods after school on the weekends all through the summer. And then, so from 1990 all the way up till 2021, I worked full time in the woods. And so, you know, 31 years full time. I'll be 50 this next Saturday coming up. So you know, basically 8 years in the woods. And so it ought to make a lot of sense to people now why I have evolved and why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Logging is probably one of the toughest jobs that you could ever love or do. Once it gets in your blood, you can't get it out of it. And logging is on thin ice right now, y'all. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. When you have people like Bobby that's been doing as long as he has, had to make the decision that he's making. Some people said, I read through some of the comments on the video, just bide your time, you know, whatever. You can't park this stuff. It's hard. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand big business. Big business Even this YouTube, what y'all are watching me on, it's a big business. It's a huge business for people like me. And there's certain things that you have to do that people don't understand why you're doing it the way that you're doing it, but you have to do it to make sure you keep the growth going and all this kind of stuff like that and everything. Logging's no different. Everything's got a shelf life. It doesn't matter whether it's a human being, a company, the biggest company out there, construction, whatever it is, there's a beginning and an end to everything. And, you know, a logging company is no different. Will we make it? I don't know. Don't know what the future holds. I do know this, the only thing that's really saving us right now is the fact that we're not long hauling anything. The trucks right now, they're burning about 40 to 50 gallons of fuel a day. And so our hauls are short. We're running about 3 rounds per truck. The timber that we're in is just kind of so-so. There's a lot of hardwood in it. If we were running like we were back several years ago when we used to run over to Bruce, Mississippi and Philadelphia, Mississippi, in those longer runs, we used to run down to Westervelt a good bit down there. If we were running those longer runs where we were running 100, you know, we've had some runs where we've run 120 to 130 miles one way. If we were making those runs right now and we were burning that 100+ gallons of fuel a day per truck, right now we're running 4 trucks. Back in those days, we were running 5, 6, sometimes 7 trucks a day, plus the machines. Dad would probably done had to done something and done shut it down and everything. But with fuel being at 5 something a gallon, you cannot make it. You cannot make it. I said it back in March when the fuel shot up, and I follow this stuff along. And I said then that people were going to be broke and they wasn't even going to know it once it got into April and May and stuff like that. Once those bills started coming in for the fuel, because the fuel is just one part. It's all based off of oil. So oil makes your fertilizers that the farmer uses. Oil is a ton of oil goes into the making of the tires, and then the raw material, the fuel that it takes for us to just burn and run during a day. Dad put a set of 8 pull wheels on a truck the other day on Danny's truck. I think it was $5,200 for 8 tires on Danny's truck is what it was. The tires for the 5500, I said it the other day in a video, they're $500 a tire right now. And so everything is a huge trickle down effect. Lori said it. She said, logging's in trouble, and it is. It is. I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing now. It has taken a huge burden, a huge load off of me, and just it's been good for me. And like I said earlier in the video, it should make a lot of sense to people why I'm doing what I'm doing. A lot of people say, well, y'all bought that processor, you know, y'all just got that processor. Well, look, anytime you see a logger get something, there's very, very few loggers out there that can actually write a check and pay for something right then. So technically, even though you got it out there, it's not yours. It belongs to the bank or finance company or the John Deere Credit or whoever's got it financed. That's who actually owns it for probably 5 years, maybe even 6 years. Processor was a deal that decision was made a while back, and nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody knows what the future is. That's the reason why it's called being in business, and the reason why you assume a risk when you sign your name on the dotted line. Nobody knew that about the time the processor was going to get delivered to Dad up there at the shop, that everything was going to crash quick, fast, in a hurry like it did. Think back of all the things over the years of people who's had to make decisions, things that didn't make it, that did make it, that spun off of it. You know, it's just a lot of different things. Like Dale Jr., I followed racing for years and years and years, and, you know, he drove for DEI. His dad, and he left DEI. You know, he left DEI, moved on to do his own thing. And then, you know, DEI then didn't make it, and lots of that stuff around there didn't make it. But everybody kind of blends in somewhere. You know what I mean? One door closes, something else opens, and what have you. But be thinking about Bobby and all his guys. I feel bad for his guys. Bobby's got some of the most loyal guys that I've ever seen working. So comment down below and tell me your thoughts. There was so much activity around this right here, because when you've got a heavy hitter that's in the limelight like Bobby, that makes an announcement like that, that's been doing it for so long, that makes a huge ripple effect in that body of water out there. But tell me your thoughts in the comments. Fill it in down there. Let's fill the comments up, because there's a lot of people watching Bobby's video, and there'll be a lot of people watch this video. And I want to go back and I want to say I appreciate all y'all who tune in and watch my stuff each day that I post something. Just kind of fill you in. I'm going to be posting a video here coming up. It's going to be probably going to be titled The End of an Era. And last night was a very special night for my family, a very emotional night for my family. Emma played her last softball game. Jill and I sat there and watched our last softball game as parents. And Emma and them, they got beat out for the North State, so they made it all the way almost to the championship there. And so it was just, I don't know, it was an emotional night. I'm gonna tell you, it was tough, because for 20-something years, that's all that Jill and I have done. Well, actually longer than that, because Jill played ball. Traveled with her back in the late 80s into the 90s, and then with our girls. So ball has been a big part of our life, and sat and watched I don't know how many games over the years. So. But it'll be a good video. I want to get Emma on there to talk, and I'd like to get Jill and Anna Kate to talk a little bit and kind of fill in the blanks, so to speak, and share that with y'all. So y'all have a great weekend this weekend. Going to be a beautiful day. Love all y'all. We'll catch y'all later. Later, taters.